Hey guys, Mike at North Arm Knives here. It's been a long time since we posted anything to YouTube, so I'm gonna show you the brand new shop we moved into about a year ago now. As you know, we were originally located in Greater Vancouver along the north arm of the Fraser River, which is actually where North Arm got its name. And now, I'm happy to say we've moved to Quadra Island, which is off Campbell River on the east coast of Vancouver Island. This is the secret entrance. Come on in. We did a lot of the build ourselves, so excuse the little pieces of construction zone that are left, like that railing up there. But this machine here is where we do all our blade machining. So, you know, any blade that we send out came off this machine. And every machine in the shop kind of has an interesting little backstory because a lot of it's used. And this one came from a tool and die shop in the lower mainline. And this is its brother here, or sister, however you want to think about it. And we do all our handle machining on this one. So basically the same machine. They're set up, one's set up with flood coolant, and this one's set up with dust collection because we don't do any wet operations on here. Just machining all our composite handles, G10 carbon fiber, stuff like that. And yeah, these two came as a pair from that tool and die shop, and they've been working well for us. We had to update them, put new controllers into them, and we've done lots of work on them over the years, but they're solid machines and been treating us well. We're gonna go back this way, actually. Over here, this is our first CNC machine. If you've watched any of our really old videos that we unfortunately haven't updated for years and years, they would have been featuring this, the Tormach, which was our very first CNC mill. And up until about 2020, I think it was, we did every single thing, anything we machined in the shop was done on this machine. Blades, handles, sheaths. So now it's kind of in semi-retirement, and it just does sheaths and a couple odd jobs here and there. But it's nice, we kind of have one mill set up for each operation or each sort of class of operation, and that way we're not changing setups too often. This one's full of plastic chips all the time, and that one's full of metal chips, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Let's see, do we have any cool... that's a set of bird and trout knife sheaths there. They've been vacuum molded, and then they're going to be profiled out on the Tormach at some point. These are all the different tools that go into that into the Tormach. The tool changer only holds 12 tools, so depending on what we're doing, we kind of swap things out in there. We used to use all those when we used the machine for everything, and now a lot of those kind of sit dormant, but they're kind of waiting in the wings in case one of the other machines go down and we have to press this one back into service for a little while. Glass cabinet back there, that's not even plumbed in yet. We don't use that one a lot anymore, but you know, if you have to do a little work on your truck or something, good for blasting a few bolts. This is our sheath riveting station. So they get milled over there, and then they come right over here for riveting. Webbing belt loops. This is really nice stiff scuba webbing we use. Satisfying stiffness on it there. And we drill those with a drill bit that we heat up. And then put some rivets through it, and that becomes part of our in-house sheath mounting solution. That is a Kydex press. Actually, that's not true. It's a t-shirt molding press, but we use it to heat up our Kydex sheets before they get molded. And toolbox. This is like the everything bench. You know, like I work on my chainsaw on this bench, and we lay out blades before they go on the other machine there, and all sorts of things happen. This is a little bit out of order. I've kind of been going in order with how our process flows, but laser engraver. So we used to CNC machine all our engravings and markings that we did on blades. The laser engraver's been a pretty nice upgrade to that, which means that we don't have to mechanically remove metal anymore using a milling tool. So the laser's really accurate. We can do super fine detail, and we have a lot more control and no tools to wear out, except one day that thing will break down, I guess, but it's been pretty solid. And that is a Rockwell Hardness tester. This used to be a Boeing in Seattle, the Boeing plant. And I bought it from an old Boeing engineer that he bought it on some sort of a clearance sale that Boeing was having after he retired, and now it's here. Toolbox, all sorts of end mills and other inspection tools. There's all sorts of tool holders. Heat treating station. So this old oven we have had since the very beginning, and I don't know how many tens of thousands of blades we've made over the years, but this oven is heat treated every single one of them. So that's kind of funny. It's on its last legs, I would say. We're going to be in the market for a new kiln pretty soon. This one will stay on for tempering and stuff like that, but it's definitely wearing out, and yeah, it's given us years of good service. This is a quenching system we built, all on our Fidel CNC mills there, and we've got water, we've got channels milled through here, and then a plate, an additional 1/2-inch plate screwed on, so that's water cooled, top and bottom. There you can see the cap plate, and it's counterweighted. This is the kind of MacGyvered part of the whole solution, but it works pretty well. Counterweighted with a big heavy steel plate. That was actually quite a lot of fun to make many years ago. Moving on to the surface finishing tumbling stations. This is our centrifugal barrel tumbler, which that does the bulk of our blade finishing. It's a pretty cool machine. It uses centrifugal force to kind of multiply the weight of the media essentially, and really speeds up the finishing process. So what would take 20, 30, as many as 50 hours in something like a vibratory tub, we can do in here in an hour or less, which is pretty cool. It's got its drawbacks as well. It heats up the water pretty quickly, and that's something we have to manage, but it's a pretty useful machine. It's our vibratory tub. That's where we do all our Skaha blade finishing. We can put hundreds of Skaha blades in there at once and not have to touch them. They do have to run for a long time because the steel we use is extremely wear resistant and just wears very slowly. So grinding out or tumbling out grinding lines and imperfections takes many hours. But it pretty much runs unattended, so that's not a big concern. That's our, I don't even know what the official name for it is. I call it a sludge centrifuge. Anyway, it's a centrifuge that separates sediment out of water or oil in some applications. But for us, we're using it to separate basically all the sediment out of our tumblers. All the water that comes out of the tumblers, the media, the ceramic media that tumbles the knives, it slowly wears down and goes into solution, and then this machine separates it out. It spins around really fast, and that sediment is forced against the walls, and you kind of get some cool patterns in the deposits there. And that basically comes back out as clay, and then we can just dispose of it as dry waste, and the water gets recycled, so there's no, we don't have to worry about disposing of dirty water, which is really nice. What about, here, this is another little MacGyvered thing we built quite a while ago. This is our noise shack. So all our noisiest machines live in here. Air compressor, dust collection. That'd be pretty unpleasant to have just out in the shop here. They're very noisy. But when this door is shut, it's really well soundproof, and we've got a baffle system up top so that we get air circulation, and it stays cool enough in there, and it's you can have a nice like conversation in here without yelling at each other when the door is shut. I guess we could demonstrate. Pretty loud. Once that door is shut, the pickups are actually louder. So where all the machines have dust collection pickups, that's where you hear noise just from the suction. This is washroom number 1, powder room. We didn't want to outgrow the number of washrooms in the future, because I'd like to one day see the shop have a few guys working here with me, and our old shop had 2 washrooms, and that seemed like a good number. Mezzanine up there, that is mostly storage and a few other odds and ends, hot water tank. This here is where all the sharpening happens, and a few other little things, but that's a big selection of grinding belts there, everything from 220 up through 2000 grit. And we have some coarser ones too, but those are more for odd jobs. These are all blades here ready for sharpening, fillet knives and a bunch of different stuff there. So that's kind of what this bench is for, staging all the blades that are ready to be sharpened. And I think that kind of concludes our time in the shop. But up front we've got the office and assembly space, and that's another interesting set of things up here. As I said, there's a lot of little details that I'd like to finish over the years, but it's going to be a while. Door trims are one of those, but it'll be me doing them most likely, so it might be a little while. This is just kind of a separate little office here. When John comes up to visit and put in some shop time, he usually lives in there and uses that as his office. That also doubles as our photo taking room. Set up the light box in there from time to time. So, okay, I can see that. I'm just kidding. We're working on a prototype new kitchen knife there. So, just drawing out some ideas. Here we have a map of the world and lots of places we've sent knives to. Unfortunately, this hasn't been updated since about 2019, so at some point I gotta get somebody to do that, because it won't be me. I think there's a few thousand new locations to add, mostly North America, but there's knives have been all through Europe, and more we're shipping stuff to South Korea and Brazil and interesting places like that. So that's always fun when one goes somewhere new. Fridge. Bare pickings. Slim pickings. That got a lot more work when I didn't work from home. I think I might move that somewhere else, because it really doesn't do much. This is the other washroom. A little bigger. We kind of roughed in for a shower there in the future. May or may not ever get installed. This is sort of our main computer space, label printing for shipping labels and emails. All sorts of stuff happens here. Planning, which we probably should do more of, happens there. And we have all our boxes here, shipping supplies, and then bins and knives. A bin of kitchen knives there, paring knives, chef's knives, stuff like that. Fillet knives, hunting knives. Some of these things, a lot of the things I've shown you back in the shop there have evolved and changed over the years, but I think we've been bundling knives with paper towel and rubber bands like that since about 2013. That's funny, I never thought of that. But all our handles up there, big selection of different handles. Skaha handles, all sorts of different materials there. That's kind of our biggest selection of materials of any model. I think we'd probably do like 12 different options. And this is kind of where we lay out orders. Orders come in, we put packing slips down there, lay out the handles and blades, and they get assembled together. There's all the hardware we use for assembling folders, skahas. Yeah, a lot of different things there. A lot of money in hardware. It's amazing how much a baggie of little bearings costs. And here we've got the ocean, which we're extremely spoiled to live right next to, and will inspire our fillet knife development, I think. And I think that about does it. Thanks for watching, guys. And we're going to try to stay on top of posting some more stuff to YouTube more frequently going forward. Although I did say that in the last video that I posted in 2017, so we'll see what happens.